I'm a huge cinephile nerd. I stay until the end of the credits. Your thank you credits were vast and enormous, and there was a lot of names, including Marie-Jeanne
Satrapi.
Yes. Persepolis, which I saw here in 2007. But you thanked your childhood trauma and memories, both good and bad, the joy and the trauma. And I was wondering during shooting if, you know, when we have traumatic events, we sort of like suppress it. I was wondering during the actual shooting if it triggered any memories.
It was probably more, I don't know if it was during shooting, because during shooting I was so focused and concentrated on just trying to make everything work. I was not j'essayais pas d'intellectualiser trop.
Yeah.
But during prep, I remember. When I was young, I lost my father when I was very young, and grief has always been part of me. I mean, it's part of my identity, I think, because grief just always stays with you, and I almost felt like a comfort. I almost created a comforting idea around this because it felt like I needed to have this idea of my father still following me, even though he left me when I was.
Oh my God! I'm seeing your film in a totally different way. But continue. Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. And I remember during prep that I was watching Tarkovsky's interview, and because I was kind of feeling guilty. I don't know, at the end of my movie, I was like, I mean, this is like a pretty cruel end, and then I saw a Tarkovsky interview, and he said, I'm making movies to prepare. Je fais des films pour préparer les gens à la mort, and it was such a comforting thought, because death and grief has been part of my life. It really created who I am today as a person and as an artist. And yeah, I think it was just maybe like an au revoir or a little hello to my father, or I don't know, but there was definitely something.
But you borrow from the graphic novel, from what I understand. The graphic novel is set in France. It's not it doesn't have the Quebec thing, right? In the graphic novel, so. No. Did it help you articulate your screenplay or story ideas? Like, at what point in your personal life did this come to you, and did it come to you before you even thought of making a film?
Before making it, no. But I remember when my co-producer handed me the graphic novel, and he said to me, "Read it. If you like it, I think it would be a good first movie." And I've heard somebody who said to me, for a first movie, it's always good to write and do a movie about something that you already know.
Of course.
So I was like, well, yeah, I know, like Les Premiers Émois, Premier Amour, first, sexual propulsion. I know exactly what it is, but I still wanted to make it my own, because that's the challenge of an adaptation. You have to make the story your own. So even in the beginning, the two first versions were pretty scolaire. Like it wasn't. I mean, I couldn't really find
rudimentary.
Yeah,
and so, but there was a framework there.
Yeah, there was a framework that was comforting, to start from something that would already exist.
Yes.
Which is the BD.
Yeah.
But it was still, I don't know. It didn't have my feel in it.
It wasn't your own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know Bretagne. I don't know the sea. I have no idea. I mean, I've been raised around lakes in Canada, so it was just. For me, it was just une évidence, and also je vais le dire en français, dans la BD, c'est la famille de la jeune fille qui vient dans la famille du jeune garçon.
Ouais.
Et j'ai inversé parce que je voulais vraiment que le garçon soit confronté à une altérité, mais genre totale, qu'il soit complètement perdu, qu'il ait aucun repère, et qu'il soit complètement intimidé par notre nature qui est très différente de la nature de la France.
I had a feeling that you did that flip.
Yeah.
And I know nothing of the actual material, but I had a feeling that you would have done that flip. I've seen a lot of films that have a Charlie Brown angle towards the parents, and I think what you do here is you purposely put them in the almost in a Charlie Brown background. They are there, but because it's so intimate, it's their story. That is pushed aside. I was wondering in the actual BD if the parental figures were treated in the same way as okay.
They were, but they didn't even. They had no personality in the video. They were just only talking about food. They still talk a lot about food in my movie, but you would never see their heads. And I still wanted to have like a little something with the actor that I would pick for the parents because I think they're really good. Monia Chokri and Karine Gonthier are just such amazing actresses.
They are.
So they just bring a little something.
I interviewed a filmmaker named Fabrice De Wells. Did a movie called Adoration.
Yeah.
We made the observation. I mean, he did it before me, but the observation that love at this age is extremely violent.
Yeah.
It's chaotic.
Yeah.
And what I found really interesting is how the idea of the gaze is used here to when it's shown on the young boy, when the gaze is upon him, it's disarming. It's he's fluttered, and he's impassioned, but the flip side of that is when the gaze is put somewhere else, it's also violent and heavy. And I was wondering if that was one thing that was part of your curriculum.
I wanted it to, exactly. It's so violent because when you're a teenager, especially at that age, at Bastien's age and Chloé's age, your social life and your love life is everything. Like you're just trying to, tu commences à prendre distance avec ta famille pour pouvoir devenir ta propre personne. Et you have no career, and everything that matters is to fit somewhere and to have a love life. And if something happens in that little world, it's the end of your world. It's extremely cruel.
Yeah.
And it was really important for me to shoot everything from Bastien's point of view. There's we used almost only, we used two lenses, but mostly one, which is a 16 millimeter, which is because we shot in 16 millimeter film, and we used a lens that was 16 millimeter, which is the closest to the human sight.
Okay.
And I would always, je privilégiais toujours cette lentille. Parce que j'avais vraiment envie qu'on soit dans un espèce de truc extrêmement naturel, extrêmement organique. J'avais envie qu'on ait un côté un tout petit peu voyeur, mais sans tomber non plus dans un truc trop cru, parce que c'était pas le but. Je voulais quand même rester pudique, mais
and in making that choice, and by the way, this is a great discovery for me. You're a cinematographer, and I mean, he did this beautiful thing for Charlotte Cardin, passive aggressive video, which I'm a huge fan of the video.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how this film feels as if it's encased in a memory.
Yeah.
And using 16 millimeter in this case.
Yeah, and the aspect ratio as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the BD has nothing to do with making this choice. So I was wondering if you can expand on building that memory-esque.
But I think that memory-esque thing is that je voulais pas mettre à l'avant, je voulais pas faire un film prétentieux, je voulais pas mettre à l'avant, regardez comme je fais des beaux cadrages, regardez comme les jeux de caméra sont intéressants, c'est pas ça, je voulais vraiment, on était beaucoup inspiré par Call Me By Your Name de Luca Guadagnino, qui a une mise en scène hyper simple, mais tellement efficace, qui fait qu'on oublie le jeu de la caméra. C'était vraiment ça notre but. Donc on essayait de découper le moins possible, et on voulait faire en sorte que, évidemment, que j'ai beaucoup répété avec les acteurs et que tout sonne le plus naturellement possible. Je tenais pas du tout à ce qui colle au texte. Il y a beaucoup d'impro dans le film aussi. Donc on arrivait sur le plateau, et ce qui est bien avec le 16 mm quand on shoot en film, c'est qu'on a une matière physique à respecter. Donc on peut pas être dans une boulimie de prise où on en fait. Donc on arrivait sur le plateau, évidemment on avait parlé de la scène avant, on répétait, j'essayais de leur donner, je leur donnais des directions en essayant de faire en sorte que la scène soit le plus vrai possible. Et puis après ça on plaçait nos caméras en fonction de ce qu'ils m'avaient proposé. Donc même si on avait fait un découpage au préalable, mais qu'on était très précis sur ce qu'on voulait, à chaque fois qu'on arrivait sur le plateau, après, on pouvait jeter tout ce qu'on avait fait juste en fonction de ce que les acteurs me proposaient.
And your background as an actor, how is it to work with two relatively? I mean, I love Sarah. Really... Like her first movie is amazing. They're still very much blank canvases. What did you learn from them? I mean, because you've been doing this for maybe a couple of decades, so. What did you learn from being new to the profession?
I learned that I would have loved to work with somebody like me as an actress. Because I think the thing I did is that I really wanted to create a trust world. I really wanted to create a bond with them. I really want them to feel at ease. And
well, for a film like this, there's a lot of boundaries. There's a personal space that
it's a very
there has to be a
intimate...
comfort level there. There has to be a huge trust level.
Exactly, and I haven't experienced that, I think, with a lot of directors. I can't even remember one right now. I mean, I've been having like nice conversation with directors I've worked with, but one that, you know, with Sarah, it almost felt, that's what she said a couple of days ago. It felt like we were sisters, and it was all about being, you know, bienveillant and les rassurer aussi après chaque prise, même si j'étais pas satisfaite avec leur travail, de les rassurer, de leur dire que je les aimais, que je les trouvais bons. Et puis de toute façon, ils savaient aussi qu'on passait jamais à autre chose tant que j'étais pas satisfaite. Donc quand la scène était râpée, c'est que je savais que j'avais ce qu'il fallait. Et vraiment, c'est ça la clé en fait. C'est ça la clé d'une bonne relation avec ses acteurs. C'est juste de créer un climat de bienveillance et de confiance.
I want to talk about the very first sequence without talking about it, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to give it up.
Yeah.
But essentially what you're doing is you're fucking with people's expectations in a way.
Exactly.
Right? Because you can read the synopsis as, oh, maybe there's an occult element to this film. We don't fucking know until we're there. But what you're doing is you're saying to the audience, hey, wake up. Like, whatever your ideas, your preconceived ideas, I'm going to fuck with it.
Yeah.
So did it naturally come to you to build a sequence like that? Was it movie magic where it just happened, or was this
No, it was
something?
written.
Okay.
I can show it to you. I did a storyboard, and it's in.
You did a storyboard, even though you had a graphic novel. Did the graphic novel sort of give you the?
But in the graphic novel, there was no strangers. There was no ghost story.
No,
there was
imagine that. Exactly, it's like it was a template.
Again, that's my storyboard for the opening.
Oh wow!
So yeah, that was. I mean, I think it probably came from also all the when I did the first version, I sent it to financiers. I sent it to a SEDEC, and SEDEC gave me like horrible notes. They were like, "Fuck that, we're not doing that."
I'm gonna extract that from the record if you don't mind,
I know,
because
it's
you'll get
fine.
in trouble if you want to get a second one.
No.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because they gave it to me when the script was ready.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the first time they were like, "No, it's not good enough." So I've worked again. And I remember in those notes they were saying like it feels too much like a French person who wants to do like a carte postale movie about and I was like, maybe that's not my intention, obviously not, but I just like the idea of starting the movie exactly like you said, like, oh, look at this, it's I wanted to start with something that would be very soothing and beautiful, and oh, it's such a beautiful landscape, and then with that mixed with that beauty, just put something a little morbid in it.
Yeah.
And just to let people know, like,
for me it was just like a very welcome wink to the audience, you know. It's like, hey guys, I'm taking you on a ride, relax, sit comfortably. Just to situate you as a creative person, you left Quebec, Canada, at a very young age to come here in France to act.
Yes. Everything, I mean, tout est arrivé un peu par hasard. C'était pas mon plan, mais c'est ça qui s'est passé.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because that's how I learned my. C'est comme ça que j'ai appris aussi le métier de réalisateur. C'est en jouant en tant qu'actrice pendant 10 ans.
But it also helped. I want to say that in this, like here, it's not weird for an actress to direct. It's almost like oh, aren't you going to direct the project?
Yeah.
Because how does that now get inserted into your world? I mean,
directing?
Yeah.
Le désir de réaliser, c'était quelque chose qui était là depuis longtemps parce que je peins, je dessine, je prends des photos depuis longtemps, donc j'ai un rapport aux images qui est très important depuis longtemps, et le désir de vouloir raconter des histoires à travers les images, c'est présent en moi depuis que je suis toute petite. Donc le fait d'avoir été actrice un peu par hasard, alors que c'était pas du tout un métier passion, ça n'a jamais été un métier passion, parce que je trouve que c'est un métier qui est très passif. Après, j'ai peut-être pas eu les rôles que j'aurais voulu avoir. Peut-être que j'aurais une autre opinion du métier si j'avais eu des rôles qui m'avaient transcendé, mais j'ai pas eu cette expérience. Et j'ai l'impression que j'ai appris mon métier pendant 10 ans de réalisateur, et j'ai vécu de la frustration aussi parce que je me suis fait parfois bien diriger, mal diriger. Des fois, j'ai vu aussi le résultat fini, j'étais pas satisfaite avec ce que je voyais. C'est très frustrant en fait. Il faut beaucoup laisser aller, il faut faire confiance. Et donc, pour moi, de passer de l'autre côté, c'était quelque chose d'assez naturel, en fait. Je me suis Je sais pas. Mais effectivement, là, maintenant que j'ai la piqûre, je veux juste faire ça.
Good. Just do that, please.
Yeah.
Stick to it. Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.